Well, Congressman, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you,
Good
Senator.
luck with your job.
Great
You know,
to see
I
you.
love it when the Democrats talk about following the law. When I was governor of Florida, because I wouldn't expand Medicaid, Barack Obama cut $1 billion out of my Medicaid program, like that. Not one Democrat said that was a problem. Not one Democrat. He cut $1 billion, and all the way, it was a program that went to hospitals that did more uncompensated care. $1 billion gone, and didn't come back until we got a new president. So, congratulations. Why do you want to do this, and what are you going to get done in your 4 years?
Thank you, Senator. And if I might real quickly to say in response to what you just said, I think there are many such examples if you think about orders that President Biden issued in the last administration that were plainly contrary to law. Even after the Supreme Court issued opinions on student debt cancellation, for example, he did more of it. And I want to make clear, because I think that there is something that needs to be said, which is that I haven't talked about violating the law. Talked about there may be issues about the Impoundment Control Act and its constitutionality and what exactly the contours are of the historic power to impound. And that's probably going to, and President Trump has made clear that's going to be looked at. So that's part of, I think, an answer to the question, what I hope to do. I think what President Trump said last night in a speech, I'm not sure I've ever seen a better State of the Union address, but he said there's going to be action. The American people are so ready for action. And I spent 5 years in the Congress, in the House of Representatives, ready for action that I never saw take place. And I don't even know that it's conservative or liberal. It's common sense and it's actual change. The reason I'm looking forward to this job more than any job I've had in my life is because I know Russ Vought. I know what the President of the United States intends to do in terms of action to see change. And I am thrilled, should I be confirmed by the Senate, to be part of it.
Do you think you can balance a budget?
Absolutely. I'm certain that can be done, Senator.
Now, have you done that in your personal life?
I certainly have.
Gosh, how do you do it?
It's amazing. My wife is the key to so many things.
So do you like find out what you're going to make and not spend more than that? Man, that must be hard. That must be really
And
hard.
look for opportunities to save and not pay for some things that we paid for at one point in time we find not to be worthwhile.
You have a credit card?
I do.
Do you review it to see if it's proper?
The way the review works in our household is that if something's on it that's not supposed to be there, I hear about it from the boss.
And have you ever like changed your telephone plan to get a better deal?
And that's a constant source of discussion internally. I've got the cheapest plan you can imagine, Senator. I'd be glad to tell you about it.
Yeah. So we've seen a 2% increase in population in 5 years and a 53% increase in federal spending. How on God's green earth can we live within this?
Every American who had an opportunity to focus on that number would say that's absurd.
Yeah. So my colleague from Ohio and others here, we just went through campaigns. I went through my reelection. And I tell people when they come up here, because everybody's in my office now asking for money. And here's what I tell them. I said, you know what? Let's say, I don't know, let's say I did 1,000 events in the last year. Not one person in my state asked me about that program. But you know what they did ask me about? Why isn't the border secure? And why is the cost of living going up? That's all they asked me about. The whole campaign. That's what I was at a Jimmy John's restaurant the other day, and the lady was just saying, "Look, I moved to Florida because you're the governor. I could get a job." But he said the cost of living is just skyrocketed. The groceries are out of whack. So, what are some of the things you think that you can get done? And by the way, do you think we can get inflation under control if we don't balance the budget?
No, sir, I don't think so. I don't know. And whether you'd have to actually get the balance to get it under control, I think you could get inflation under control probably short of that target, but it still needs to be done to be sustainable over the long term. But I think the plain thing is that President Trump has made it clear over and over in his State of the Union last night. He made it clear how relentlessly he is focused on that. He's laid out strategies that are plausible in terms of, for example, unleashing American energy production, lower the cost of energy. You not only reduce the cost of every time somebody makes an energy-related transaction, but energy goes into everything that is done in the goods and services across the economy. That's a businessman's judgment, if I can say that to you, and seeing Senator Moreno next to you, think about Senator Johnson, Senator Ricketts. And I think that's so refreshing to the American people to hear. But those are the things that are affecting their lives. What prevents them from getting to the end of the month successfully? And so I think that's right, Senator.
When I was in business, I read the lines of my budget. Right, I had 343 hospitals went through their budgets. Surgeon centers went through the budgets. Everything, every business, manufacturing companies went through their budgets. When I was governor of Florida, 4,000 lines of the budget. I went through every line, every year, they had a written purpose. You think we ought to do that with the federal government?
I think there's no substitute for it. It requires sort of a preparedness to confront a tedium and work through it because it has to be done. It's a job that must be done.
And if we can't find a purpose or it didn't do it, should we just keep doing it because we did it before?
That one doesn't sell for me, Senator, ever. I think we ought to consider everything anew, every time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.